We hope you're ready to take the plunge with us as diving makes its return to the Marble League for the first time since 2016. Hey everybody, I'm Greg Woods. Welcome. This is an event that back in 2016 was won by Jelle, which, oh by the way, have just happened to win the last two events in this year's Marble League, up 3 spots to 3rd place in the overall standings. Boy, if there's a time to peak, it's getting into that period right now. If you're wondering how this event works, you see the bullseyes down on the bottom of the tank. Obviously, in diving, synchronicity is a big part of it, but it's where you land on that bullseye that makes a difference for your score. Obviously, if you're really out of sync, you're going to lose points regardless. But if you land in the white, that's worth 1 point, all the way up to 5 points if you land in the middle. You'll see it color-coded down there in the example run from the yellow pupils, who put up not a bad score, just slightly off on their sink. But in this one, you're diving, not really sinking. Don't let that confuse you. Regardless, as we get ready here, Jelle won that event in 2016. Oceanics were 2nd back then, and Limers were 3rd. This team, 8th. Down they come, and they spread out wide. This will be a good view as they drop on in. Nobody terribly close to the bullseye. Boy, they really have to slow it down there. 3 of them, boy, they were in sync the whole way. Slightly out of position on that 2nd marble from the top. But you can see, mostly blues, which get them 2 points. Minty Maniacs. They drop on through a high bounce from that 3rd marble. And as they come on in, several of them, I think, at least one of them missed the white altogether. This is the better view for it. And a 0 down there, 4.76. 1/4 of a point out of sync. Here are those bronze medalists. That was their very first Marble League medal ever back then. And that was an okay entry. Ooh, and just a little bit off. Just 2 1-pointers out there. 0.16 the deduction for being slightly out of sync. But overall, a respectable result. Here are the Gliding Glaciers, and boy, their entry point and a couple of the contact look pretty good. Yes, they've got a bullseye from that 3rd marble. It would be 2nd from the top as we look at it. Also a 3-pointer in there, so 10.84 is the mark to beat from the Gliding Glaciers. Crazy Cat's Eyes up now. And that looked very in sync coming through, and good positioning, landing on the bullseyes as well. Oh, they were a bit off where? You can see those bottom 2 marbles from our view getting ever so close together in midair. 3 threes on the board. These judges are holding nothing back. They expect perfection here. They want everybody to stay roughly equidistant apart in the air. Oh, and look at this! A 12.76! And that breaks the old record, gotta go back a ways, held by the Purple Rockets, a team that comes from the Stardust Classic, if you're a student of history of the sport, with Team Galactic and the Solar Flares. Wow! Well, there you go. And that was also a pretty good jump, at least by those couple of camera angles. Ooh, 11.60, it is just shy. Big deduction, though. You can see them getting out of sorts, and especially where they finish once they're in the water there. That can sometimes be indicative of the path that they took through the air, or in some cases through the water. Chocolatiers come in now, and they were splayed all over the place by the time they hit the bullseyes. They were very synchronized entering the water, just slightly out of a line. But once they actually got into the water, that's where things started to unravel a little bit for them. So Shining Swarm have the lead with a Marble League record, 12.76. And that's with nearly a 1/4 of a point deduction. That is saying something. This is really a sport that overloads the mind in a lot of ways. Not only do you have the bounce there and the entry into the water, then you have to quickly get your bearings about you and seek out those targets on the bottom of the tank. You miss any one of those steps like the Orangers have here. They focused a bit too much on being in sync and lost it by the time they got down to the targets. 2 goose eggs on the board. Thunderbolts come through now in run 10 of 16. No heats, you get 1 attempt, and it better be a good one. Oh, they were well off. In fact, they had a collision after the water entry point for those top 2. And that is going to earn them no brownie points with their coach either. Indigo Stars up now. That was not a bad entry. Not the best landing, though. You can see them going in several different directions. Off the bounce, they're in a decent line there, and then they start to come together. The deduction, not terrible for them. Problems were on the landing. Green Ducks now. What can they do? It's Green Ducks in a water event. The expectations are pretty high. Oh, but the score is not. 7.80. Highest that they got was a 3 on the bullseyes, and then 0.2 deduction on the synchronicity. So as we currently stand with just 4 to go, it's Shining Swarm, Hazers, and then Gliding Glaciers. So got to get above 10.84 if you hope to crack the podium and get a medal. Some of these teams that go very late have to be wondering what the different strategies are, because it's so much of this comes down to practice. There's very little that you can actually do once you are performing. All of the hours and hours of diving back and forth and having your technique watched and filmed sometimes all comes down to this. Mellow Yellow. 3 to go. Our former diving gold medalist. What do they do here? That looked like a good landing. Where does it shake out? Oh, 11.8. It puts them into second place. Mellow Yellow, even with that 0.2 deduction, did get a bullseye and 2 threes as well. So now, Shining Swarm are going to be guaranteed a medal with just 2 runners left. And Raspberry Racers can't get it done. So it's going to be no worse than silver for the Shining Swarm. Mellow Yellow can get bronze at worst. What can Team Momo do? A team that came in 6th back in 2016. Oh, and that did not look like a coordinated landing at all onto the targets. A 1 and a 0 puts them in 12th, and it puts the gold medal squarely on the dive of the Shining Swarm. They are your gold medalists.
Congratulations, today's winners, the Hazers, Marblerace,
That is the Shining Swarm's 2nd ever Marbleleague gold. Here's how they got it done. Good recovery when they were just starting to get a little out of sync off the bounce. They recovered nicely, entered the water cleanly. They're also looking at that level of splash, sometimes 2. And by gosh, Mellow Yellow on the podium as well. That's practically their home now. They're loving that. They're comfortable as can be. And hey, another bronze, and excelling in a water event are the Hazers. Something we're also still getting used to with all of this. But hey, what a nice return to the Marbleleague this was. The 12.76 cleared the field easily for the Shining Swarm. Mellow Yellow get the silver, and Hazers, the bronze. Gliding Glaciers just off the podium. They're in 4th. How does this shake things around a bit? And we've got a new leader in the championship. Perhaps unsurprisingly, given their performance of late, Mellow Yellow vaults to the top, 3 clear of Momo. Raspberry Racers another 3 back. Then it's the Green Ducks up into 4th. Next up, the elimination race as we head down in the final few events of the 2021 Marbleleague.